Introduction. When you focus on being the best person you can be, you draw the best possible life, love, and opportunities to you. Germany, Kent. Research conducted by a wellness company called Birchbox revealed that 2 in 3 people in the U.S. struggle to make time for self-care. A separate survey conducted in the UK found that while the general public understood the importance of self-care, many people lacked the knowledge and confidence to prioritize their well-being. A common frustration for many people is the feeling of being stuck in their lives. They have adopted a routine that works and helps them pay the bills. But the consequence is living a life on autopilot. The lack of self-care makes it difficult for them to identify and prioritize their physical, mental, and emotional needs. They become adults who are highly functional, but neglectful when it comes to core matters, such as managing stress, maintaining positive relationships, and making time for play and socializing. In a world that constantly tells you that you are not doing enough, it is normal to start chasing after external validation and fail to honor yourself. Certainly, there could be a list of tasks and responsibilities you deem more urgent than taking time off or engaging in a hobby. The irony, however, is that unless your personal well-being is high, you won't be productive in many aspects of your life. The purpose of this book is to provide a guideline on how to prioritize self-care and personal growth amidst your busy lifestyle. To prevent a case of living life on autopilot or reaching the stage of burnout, you will need to pursue a balanced and healthy lifestyle. Over the next 10 chapters, you will be introduced to 10 life categories that are important to manage in order to live a fulfilling life. These categories include 1. Friends and family. 2. Recreational activities. 3. Spirituality. 4. Finances. 5. Creativity. 6. Personal growth. 7. Business and career. 8. Health and fitness. 9. Romantic relationships. 10. Environment. As the name of the book suggests, focusing on these 10 life categories will help you become your best self, the version of you that feels fulfilled in their career, health, relationships, finances, and social life. But more importantly, these life categories will help you break free from rigid routines that keep you stuck in unhealthy patterns of behaviors. Of course, this transformation won't happen overnight. You will need just as much time to unlearn harmful patterns of behavior as you took learning them. This is where the workbook journal comes in. Accompanying this book is a workbook called How to Become Your Best Self, the Workbook. Each month, you are encouraged to take down notes in the workbook journal and assess how satisfied you are in the 10 life categories mentioned above. The knowledge shared with you in this book will help you make a good assessment of what you are doing right and categories to improve on. There is also a section to write down monthly goals and action steps for each category. However, 12 months of practice isn't enough to make self-care a core element of your life. Alongside this short guide and workbook journal is a full-length guidebook with even more practical ways to become the best version of yourself. The book is called Turning the Caterpillar into the Butterfly: Empowering Your Best Self Towards True Potential, a simple 52-step guidebook to unleashing your inner greatness. And it is available for purchase today. Chapter 1. Nurture relationships with friends and family. Draw close to people who honor your no, who cheer you on for telling the truth, who value your growth more than they value their own needs getting met or their own pathologies celebrated. Shauna Nyquist. Why Friends and Family Matter. Who is a friend? And who is a family member? A friend is someone whom you have a strong mutual bond with. The relationship is usually platonic, meaning there is no romantic attraction or features that are involved. The type of love that you share with a friend is known as philia, a Greek word for brotherly love. This kind of love is birthed and sustained when two people have shared value, mutual respect, and are supportive of one another. A family member is someone to whom you are related. They could either be part of your immediate family, i.e. mother, father, siblings, children, spouse, etc., or part of your extended family, i.e. grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, etc. Unlike friendships, the relationships with your family members are not chosen. They exist as a result of blood ties. In other words, whether you are close to your siblings or not, they are still your siblings. It is common to develop strong bonds with some family members. However, there must be a willingness from both parties to build a connection, except in the case of parents unilaterally forging a relationship with their children. When strong bonds are formed, you can feel a different type of love, known as storge. This Greek word describes a natural and unconditional love felt between family members, particularly by parents towards their children. Family members will develop a deep fondness towards each other, born out of closeness and interdependency. Since human beings are social creatures and tend to feel more secure being part of groups or communities, having friends and family matters. Abraham Maslow described love and a sense of belonging as the third human need to achieve fulfillment. According to him, building healthy interpersonal relationships would respond to a biological need to feel connected, appreciated, and supported by others. This need is felt most strongly in childhood and can sometimes override the need for safety. Relationships with friends and family can also help you develop a stable sense of self, such as being able to discover who you are and express your individuality in relation to others. Healthy relationships that validate who you are can boost your self-esteem, reduce stress and anxiety, and strengthen your immune system, which means less visits to the doctor's office. Moreover, with the prevalence of loneliness in our communities, having close friends and family can reduce the risk of depression, suicidal thinking, and antisocial behaviors. Where do we get it wrong? Have you ever wondered why the relationships that mean the most to you tend to be the greatest source of pain? Research shows that people are more likely to be aggressive toward those they care about the most. The aggression can be direct, such as physical or verbal attacks, or expressed indifferently through passive-aggressive behaviors like spreading rumors or giving the silent treatment. So what causes relationships with loved ones to become turbulent? There are a few interpersonal problems that tend to arise in relationships with friends and family. These include 1. Trust issues due to past betrayals or conflict. Trust is the faith that your loved one has your best interests at heart, and vice versa. In the absence of trust, it can be difficult to communicate unmet needs or freely express who you are in relationships. Trust is often broken when there has been a history of conflict or betrayal. When those transgressions haven't been addressed, they can lead to trust issues among friends and family members. Signs of trust issues include jealousy, defensive behaviors, emotional invalidation, possessiveness, and lack of emotional support. 2. Control issues and unreasonable rigidity. The obsessive need for control is usually seen in friendships or family relationships where there is a lack of trust. In most cases, one person desires control over another person as a coping mechanism to feel protected. Control issues can manifest as the need to direct other people's behaviors, overemphasis on obedience and following rigid rules, sensitivity to anything that might come across as disrespectful, and holding others to unrealistically high standards. 3. Boundary issues and lack of acceptance. What do you get when you combine trust issues and control issues? Multiple boundary violations. It is common, especially within families, for individuals to cross each other's boundaries due to imposing their own beliefs and expectations on others. At the core of boundary issues is the lack of acceptance of others for who they are. You might have an image of who they should be and feel disappointed when they are unable to live up to that ideal. 4. Lack of mutual goals and interests. Since friendships are chosen, they are more vulnerable to issues related to a lack of mutual goals and interests. For instance, when an individual grows and gains more life or work experience, they are likely to adopt different habits, mindsets, and goals. As such, they tend to become incompatible with the friends they used to be close with. Typically, this type of issue can be resolved with open communication and renegotiation of expectations. However, the effort to adjust the terms of the friendship must come from both parties, otherwise it might not be successful. 5. Lack of emotional support and availability. Part of the attraction to having close friends and family is being able to lean on others when you're going through a tough time. When loved ones aren't capable of creating a safe space for both of them to share thoughts and feelings openly, they can become emotionally withdrawn from each other. The lack of emotional support and availability can lead to aggressive behaviors, codependency, and people-pleasing, or an imbalance of power in relationships, i.e., where one person's needs and comforts are prioritized over another. At times, you may be at the receiving end of hurt from loved ones, but other times responsible for causing hurt to loved ones. The back-and-forth conflict and one-upsmanship will continue until you come to value peace and connection over being right and in control. Take a moment to think about the significance of your friendships and family relationships. Focus on the pros and cons of having those people in your life. Is it worth seeking positive change? 5 practical ways to nurture relationships with friends and family. You deserve to have meaningful relationships with friends and family. However, to get there, you will need to put in some effort. Of course, mutually beneficial relationships are a two-way street, meaning that the effort must come from both sides. Below are a few practical ways you can nurture relationships with loved ones, assuming that your efforts will be reciprocated. Don't ignore the little issues. Be proactive in resolving conflict, even minor issues that don't seem like a big deal. Approach your friend or family member with curiosity, seeking to understand and clarify what is happening or what just happened, and how both of you may be feeling. Encourage open communication. It isn't always easy to address interpersonal problems, especially those that require us to share our deep thoughts and emotions. You can encourage loved ones to feel safe talking to you about anything by being open to their questions and listening and validating their viewpoints. Note that you don't need to be in agreement to acknowledge and respect how someone else thinks and feels. Be intentional about time spent together. Time spent with loved ones should be done with intentionality. Think about activities or experiences you can share that encourage bonding. For instance, you can work on a DIY project with your children, try out a new restaurant with a friend, or organize a conference call with all of your siblings together. Embrace differences. Being open and accepting of other people's differences is a sign of respect. Practice noticing the positive qualities and strengths of others, instead of looking for faults. Recognize how their uniqueness benefits your relationship and makes them lovable. Remember that two people, whether they are born into the same family or just friends, will never have identical views, interests, or attitudes toward life. Respond to bids for affection. Psychologist Dr. John Gottman came up with a concept of bids, which refer to unspoken attempts that friends and family make for connection. A bid could be as simple as a smile, sigh, gentle touch, or simple request. Train your mind to recognize when loved ones are making bids for connection, and respond to as many bids as you can. For example, if a loved one expresses they are tired when coming home from work, it could be an opportunity to ask how their day went. Interactive exercise. For the next 30 days, challenge yourself to practice the APR technique with friends and family. The aim of the technique is to help you manage strong emotions before they spill over into your relationships. APR requires you to practice 3 steps whenever you are feeling overwhelmed: awareness, pause, and reframing. Be aware of intense emotions or negative thoughts. Pause whatever you are doing and breathe. And when you are feeling calm, reframe your perspective about what is actually happening. E.g., put yourself in their shoes and imagine how they might be feeling. Reminder: each month, rate your level of satisfaction in the area of friends and family on the wellness wheel. Refer to the workbook. Feel free to practice the suggestions made in this chapter to improve your relationships. Chapter 2. Make the most out of recreational activities. People who cannot find time for recreation are obliged, sooner or later, to find time for illness. John Wanamaker. Why engaging in recreational activities matters. Recreational activities can be defined as outdoor activities that are practiced for the purpose of pleasure, fitness, or relaxation. Examples of recreational activities include swimming, hiking, dancing, volunteering, or gardening. Most people treat recreational activities as optional. They often fall low on the priority list, overtaken by tasks that are deemed more important. Some adults are uncomfortable picking up recreational activities due to associating them with child's play. They are afraid of being perceived as immature for engaging in interests that their peers can't relate to. In reality, there is no connection between recreational activities and immaturity. Instead, experts have found positive correlations between recreational activities and enhanced well-being. For instance, engaging in recreational activities has been found to bring the following physical health benefits: reduced risk of becoming overweight, improved quality of sleep, lowers blood pressure in those whose blood pressure is already high. Being outdoors also gives you an opportunity to connect with people and satisfy the need for belonging. Other emotional benefits of recreational activities are increased self-esteem and self-awareness, improved focus and working memory, strengthened social and communication skills, encouraging networking and relationship building, reduced risk of mental health problems like anxiety or depression. As the word suggests, recreational activities enable you to recreate yourself outside of the office. It is common for professionals to lose touch of who they are outside of their work roles. The same can be said for mothers who get wrapped up in their role as caregivers to the extent of disconnecting from other aspects of themselves. Living a balanced life requires you to be comfortable switching between identities. The you that is a successful business person isn't the same you that enjoys playing video games or sewing. Having recreational activities can help you switch from one you to another and prevent your mind and body from overworking. Where do we get it wrong? In a survey completed by 140 professionals, 90% reported that busyness at work affected their ability to think creatively, prioritize tasks, or make clear decisions. The survey found that busyness isn't the badge of honor that many professionals consider it to be. On the contrary, being busy can make individuals ineffective at work. Scheduling time for rest and relaxation by finding meaningful recreational activities can lead to greater performance in other areas of your life. To prevent excuses or procrastination in this particular endeavor, it is important to shatter some common misconceptions about pursuing recreational activities. Below are a few. 1. Myth: you need to be passionate about what you are doing. Passion is a bonus when it comes to finding the most suitable recreational activities for you. What's important is being able to identify activities that help you relax, stay active, or feel pleasure. You don't need to be skilled or particularly good at the activity either. All that is required is an interest and willingness to learn. 2. Myth: you need to be in a good mood to engage in recreational activities. It is often assumed that recreational activities are appropriate when you are feeling positive and don't have a lot of stress in your life. But the truth is, They can help you unwind, de-stress, and find healthy distractions from challenging life situations. This is because engaging in hobbies can release endorphins, which are brain chemicals that relieve pain, increase confidence, and improve your overall well-being. 3. Myth. You need other people to join you to engage in recreational activities. Even though recreational activities can provide an opportunity for social interactions, there are some activities that are suitable for those who prefer spending time alone. Examples of solo recreational activities include golf, hiking, cooking, painting, traveling, and going to see a movie. 4. Myth. Recreational activities need to be a constructive use of time. You don't need to have a philosophical reason explaining why you gravitate to certain recreational activities instead of others. Bear in mind that as long as your hobbies and interests help you relax, stay active, or find pleasure, they are not a waste of time. Of course, it is beneficial to find activities that match your lifestyle to ensure that you maintain the same values and life principles when you are working and relaxing. 5. Myth. You need to find recreational activities that are appropriate for your age. The common misconception around recreational activities is that they are suitable for young people, who might still possess a sense of childlikeness. The truth is that what individuals find interesting has nothing to do with their age or maturity levels. It's simply based on their personalities and what they feel drawn towards. Your recreational activities don't need to make sense to others, nor do they have to follow societal norms about what is acceptable for your age and what isn't. 30 recreational activities you will love. Going from barely making time for recreational activities to incorporating a few into your daily routine can be daunting. To help you get started, below is a list of different types of recreational activities to practice, grouped under 6 categories. Sports activities: tennis, swimming, dancing, football, exercise boot camp. DIY activities: building customized shelving, creating a plant or flower wall, creating a headboard, updating lighting around the home, painting furniture pieces. Hobby activities: taking a photography class, gardening, playing video games, reading, cooking. Social activities: playing a group sport, volunteering, organizing a dinner party or barbecue, joining an interest-based online group, attending local markets and festivals. Outdoor activities: camping, hiking, birdwatching, visiting a local attraction, outdoor meditation. Arts and crafts activities: finger painting, knitting, creating a vision board, scrapbooking, creating a mosaic table. Interactive exercise. For the next 30 days, challenge yourself to tick off as many recreational activities as you can from the lists above. Encourage yourself to pick at least one activity from each category to try. After engaging in the different activities, write about the experience in your journal. Make a note of the activities that help you relax, stay active, and feel fulfilled. Chapter 3. Deepen your spiritual practice. The mind divides the world into a million pieces. The heart makes it whole. Stephen Levine. Why engaging in a spiritual practice matters. Spirituality is the idea that there is more to life than what you can see, touch, feel, taste, or hear. By choosing to explore the world beyond your senses, you enable the mind to embrace higher truths about your human existence. While spirituality can incorporate religious beliefs, it certainly isn't based on any particular organized religion. At the core of every spiritual practice is the relationship you have with yourself. Even the relationship with your higher power is understood and experienced through the relationship you have with yourself. In other words, you are as close to God as you are close to yourself. Spiritual practices matter because they provide channels through which you can deepen the relationship you have with yourself. They offer different forms of expression, depending on the activities you enjoy, to raise your consciousness and self-awareness. The types of spiritual practices you gravitate toward are based on what type of spirituality you endorse. Below are 5 common types of spirituality. 1. Mystical spirituality. Focuses on raising consciousness through connecting to your intuition. People who practice this type of spirituality believe that all nature and beings are interconnected, and there's a reason behind everything. They are drawn toward practices that heal and align energies. 2. Authoritarian spirituality. Focuses on raising consciousness through honoring the authority of the universe. This type of spirituality is associated with organized religions, and believers are more likely to believe in an all-powerful God. Thus, they are drawn to religious traditions and practices. 3. Intellectual spirituality. Focuses on raising consciousness through seeking knowledge, often by exploring disciplines like history, science, psychology, and philosophy. This type of spirituality is concerned about finding theories that explain human existence. Intellectuals who practice it will be drawn to reading literature and watching documentaries. 4. Service spirituality. Focuses on raising consciousness through serving mankind by sharing wisdom, acts of kindness, advocating for rights, and supporting those in need. People who practice this type of spirituality tend to be altruistic and find a sense of purpose in helping others. As such, they are drawn to practices that encourage community service, coaching and mentorship, or social activism. Note that for every type of spirituality, the main aim is to deepen the connection you have with yourself. Spiritual practices should therefore not be seen as the main component of spirituality, but tools to help you live a meaningful life. As you work through the workbook and rate the area of spirituality, reflect on the small ways in which you build a stronger relationship with yourself. Determine which tools are most compatible with your lifestyle. Where do we get it wrong? Spirituality is often a path that you are introduced to during childhood. If not, you may stumble across it during a difficult period in life. Your views on spirituality and its importance are shaped by the early ideas you were taught or adopted about it. Having a rigid framework to base your understanding of spirituality can lead to rejecting other ideas about spirituality that don't align with what you know. This can negatively impact your spiritual growth and the capacity to deepen the connection with yourself. Below are some of the ways that you might unintentionally block your own spiritual development. 1. Staying in your comfort zone. Growing spiritually requires stepping out of your comfort zone by showing curiosity and openness to new experiences. When you become comfortable with your limited understanding of life, you cut your journey of personal development. It is therefore difficult to become your best self when you are content with who you currently are. 2. Refusal to self-examine. The beginning of wisdom is accepting that you don't know everything. There is an infinite amount of knowledge that exists in the world, which you couldn't comprehend in a single lifetime. With this in mind, there will always be areas of your life to improve on, habits to change, mindsets to adjust, and beliefs to replace. Being open to examining your character and outlook on life can enhance your spiritual life. 3. Being distracted by the outer world. The human experience consists of 2 realities, the inner and outer world. Your inner world refers to your psyche that is made up of your thoughts, emotions, memories, and self-perception. Your outer world refers to your surroundings, which can be experienced through the 5 senses. When you spend the majority of time preoccupied with your outer world, your inner world suffers. As a result, you become unresponsive to your needs, disconnected from your thoughts and emotions, and unaware of what you are projecting to the world. Spirituality calls you to make the inner world just as much of a priority as your outer world. 4 spiritual practices to deepen your connection with yourself. There are no fixed rules or expectations about how you should organize your spiritual life. The only suggestion is to dedicate some time working on this aspect of your life. If you don't already know what type of spirituality you gravitate toward, or which practices you enjoy, take an open and experimental approach when embarking on this journey. Below are 4 spiritual practices to deepen your connection with yourself. Gain spiritual knowledge. Learn more about who you are and the meaning of life by practicing self-reflection, reading Holy Scriptures, studying ideologies, or meditating. Practice devotion. Show devotion to your higher power by praying, worshiping, honoring religious traditions, reciting mantras, or expressing gratitude. Serve others. Find ways to help those who are in need and are looking for support through volunteering, offering your skills for free, mentoring someone, speaking up against injustice, or performing random acts of kindness. Raise your vibration. Cleanse and realign your mind, body, and soul through breathing exercises, mindfulness, psychotherapy, forgiveness, getting in touch with nature, or hypnosis. Interactive exercise. For the next 30 days, challenge yourself to take mini breaks during the day to simply focus on your breathing. You can follow this simple box breathing exercise. Gently inhale through your nose for 5 counts. Hold your breath for 5 counts. Gently exhale out of your mouth with pursed lips for 5 counts. Hold your breath for 5 counts. Repeat as many times as you like. Once a day, open your journal and record how your breathing sessions went. Chapter 4. Get control over your finances. When money realizes that it is in good hands, it wants to stay and multiply in those hands. Idowu Koyenikan. Why financial health matters. Financial health or well-being refers to the level of financial stability an individual has. The more stable your financial situation is, the better your financial health. You don't need to be materialistic to understand the importance of money, not only for sustaining your livelihood, but also securing your future. Being in poor financial health can negatively impact your mental health and put a strain on your relationships. The knock-on effects of the COVID-19 pandemic showed just how much finances played a role in households and community life. Individuals and families who faced financial insecurity were mostly those who came from lower to middle-income households. They were more likely to experience job cuts and struggle to pay the bills. We know that there are a number of factors that affect the performance of the economy, many of which we don't have control over. Nowadays, it is becoming more critical to save money and look for multiple sources of income. For instance, the job you have today could be gone tomorrow due to technology or the economic recession. If you are still living paycheck to paycheck, how would that sudden loss of employment impact your livelihood? Not only is it important to save and make more money, it is also necessary to monitor spending and avoid accumulating a lot of debt. Indeed, not all debt is bad, specifically if you are borrowing money to fund income-generating assets or businesses. However, borrowing done in excess can be detrimental for your financial health. The reality is that you can never build generational wealth for as long as you have enormous debt. The value of your net worth takes into consideration how much money you owe others. Plus, in difficult economic times when the inflation rises, and so do interest rates, maintaining debt can be expensive. Thus, improving your financial health requires managing your wants and needs and having a long-term vision when it comes to financial planning. Where do we get it wrong? Many people have not reached the level of financial stability they dream about. A survey conducted by Capital One and the Decision Lab found that 77% of Americans feel anxious about their financial situation. While the statistics measured sentiments in the U.S., This type of money anxiety is felt by people across the world. Some of the financial concerns that people have are based on long-term financial needs, such as whether they will be able to save for retirement, buy a home, or afford their children's tuition at school. These are real concerns that can create ongoing stress and negatively impact relationships. In an effort to turn things around for the better, it is worth looking at some of the factors that cause financial struggles in the first place. These might include: 1. Paying for insurance you don't need. Taking out insurance is an important step toward financial freedom. However, some insurance products are nice to have, but not vital for your safety and well-being. In other words, if you had the extra funds to afford taking out these add-ons, great. But if you are already working on a tight budget, you can do without them. Examples of insurance products that can be considered a waste of money include: identity theft insurance. Most bank cards come with built-in systems or protection against fraud, which makes this type of insurance unnecessary. Children's life insurance. Since most children don't have assets under their name and aren't exposed to a lot of health risks like chronic disease, it is not necessary to pay expensive premiums on life insurance. Instead, you can open a long-term savings account for them, which will come in handy when they go to college. 2. Refinancing your home shortly after purchasing it. One of the ways to manage debt is to refinance your mortgage. This is usually done by re-estimating the value of your property and applying for new interest rates and bond terms based on the current value of your property. Refinancing your mortgage is only useful when you have accumulated equity in your home, which typically occurs 3 to 5 years after purchasing and maintaining the property. If you apply for refinancing any sooner, the cost of refinancing fees may outweigh your potential savings. 3. Making minimum credit card payments when you can afford more. Financial institutions charge exorbitantly high interest rates on credit cards due to the risk of borrowers not being able to settle their accounts. Having a lot of credit card debt can be costly, which is why it is recommended to make larger payments toward your monthly credit card bills, or settle the outstanding balance, if it is something you can afford. The worst thing you can do is allow debt to carry over from one month to another. Credit cards work on compound interest, and the balance carried over makes the total amount owing more expensive. 4. Developing a habit of emotional spending. When you are upset or lonely, do you reach out for your wallet or find yourself browsing through online stores? A study by Credit Karma found that 39% of Americans identified as emotional spenders, which are individuals who spend money to cope with intense emotions. For instance, excitement or sadness can trigger an urge to make a purchase, and either celebrate an occasion or make up for having a bad day. Emotional spending can turn into an impulsive habit that causes people to lose control of their finances and accumulate debt they cannot afford. If this is an issue you can relate to, it is worth considering healthier ways to relieve stress that don't require spending any money, such as meditating, doing house chores, or spending time outdoors. 5. Living beyond your means. In this highly connected digital age, you are constantly bombarded with images and videos of extravagant lifestyles of the rich and famous. At times, it could be your close friends and family who are sharing images of their flashy lifestyle on social media. It can be difficult to sometimes remember that excessive wealth is not the norm for the majority of people. Only 1% of society can afford to maintain a life of extravagance, while 99% find themselves in debt because of unrestrained spending. To avoid falling into the pressure of keeping up with your peers, set financial goals to help you maintain discipline and encourage budgeting. Once you have reached a financial milestone, strive for the next one until you eventually find yourself in the 1% club. 5 practical money management tips. Generating income is great, but do you have a plan on how to manage your monthly income? If so, do you follow that plan consistently? Money management is a skill that none of us are born with. With the right knowledge and experience, you can learn how to get better at managing your money. Mastering this foundational skill will open savings and investment opportunities that you couldn't access before. Here are a few practical tips to get you started. Create a monthly budget. You don't need to wait until you're in financial trouble to start living on a budget. Calculate your total income and expenses, then determine how much money you will need to pay off expenses and put some away towards savings. Implement the 50-30-20 budget rule. Experts believe that dividing your income according to your needs, wants, and savings is a good way to manage your finances. The 50-30-20 rule allocates 50% of total monthly income to needs, 30% to wants, i.e., entertainment, and 20% to savings. Feel free to adjust the allocations to suit your budget. Save before you spend. To ensure you put money aside for rainy days on a consistent basis, deposit money into your savings account the minute you get paid. If possible, you can automate this payment so that it isn't something you think about. Set financial goals. If you don't already have a financial goal that you are working on, now is the perfect time to create one. Your goal can be short or long term, depending on your current financial situation and where you would like to be in the next 3, 6, or 12 months. To prevent the lack of follow-through, keep your goals specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Avoid unnecessary debt. If you are going to take out debt, it should be a step that can help you achieve your goals. In other words, your debt should always pull you closer to realizing your financial freedom rather than making the journey harder. Before taking out debt, always reflect on the why behind borrowing the money. How will the debt add value to your life? How will it help you make more money in the future? Good financial management is one of the secrets to wealth creation and living the life of your dreams. However, it certainly isn't the only secret. You can learn more about the value of finances and other life-changing lifestyle hacks in the book Turning the Caterpillar into the Butterfly, Empowering Your Best Self Towards True Potential, a simple 52-step guidebook to unleashing your inner greatness. Interactive exercise. Do you need motivation to start saving? Why not take the 30-day $100 savings challenge? To accumulate $100 at the end of a 30-day period, you will need to make daily deposits of money into your savings account. Deposits start at $1 per day and go up to $5 per day. Every 5 days, the deposit amount will increase, except for the last 10 days when the deposit amount stays at $5. So make sure you follow the chart below. Day 1 to 5, deposit $1. Day 6 to 10, deposit $2. Day 11 to 15, deposit $3. Day 16 to 20, deposit $4. Days 21 to 30, deposit $5. After completing the challenge, you are welcome to repeat the process again, this time increasing your daily deposit amounts. Chapter 5. Unleash your natural creativity. To be creative means to be in love with life. You can be creative only if you love life enough that you want to enhance its beauty. You want to bring a little more music to it, a little more poetry to it, a little more dance to it. Osho. Why creativity matters. You have probably grown up thinking that you are either left-brained or right-brained, depending on how logical or creative you are. The theory originates from research conducted by psychobiologist Roger W. Sperry. The research found that the brain can be divided into a left and right hemisphere, and each side functions differently. While it is true that the left and right side of the brain are responsible for different functions, i.e., the left brain processes information using linear and logical thinking, whereas the right brain utilizes abstract and creative thinking, the idea that one side of your brain is more dominant than the other was proven to be false by a 2013 study carried out by a team of neuroscientists. They found that neither side of the brain is more developed than the other, which means that individuals can learn how to process information and communicate using both left and right brain thinking. Creativity is therefore not a discipline that is only suitable for artists, musicians, writers, or anyone else who might feel an inclination to be creative. Everyone has the capacity to enhance their creativity and use it to their advantage in their personal and professional lives. For example, traits that are seen to be creative, such as problem-solving, open-mindedness, curiosity, and adaptability, can be used when applied to real-life challenges. It is also worth noting that not every creative person becomes an innovator or entrepreneur. Some may not even look for ways to monetize their creativity. The purpose of nurturing your natural creativity is to improve your quality of life and become a better version of yourself. Below are a few more non-career focused reasons why you should consider tapping into your creativity. 1. You can improve your outlook on life. One of the signs of creativity is being able to utilize abstract thinking when faced with certain life situations. Abstract thinking is the ability to think outside the box, explore multiple perspectives, and look beyond what you can conceptualize in your mind. This type of thinking requires a level of openness to explore unconventional ideas that may oppose your current worldview or beliefs. The benefit of developing this creative skill is that you can learn to recognize patterns, empathize with others, and expand your own thinking. 2. You gain access to more opportunities. When you learn how to tap into your natural creativity, you will become a better problem solver. The ability to see and think beyond your current circumstances can enable you to find solutions where others might see a dead end. For instance, when you encounter failure, you could interpret the event as important feedback that you can use to redirect yourself. Creativity helps you see the hidden opportunities within the unexpected crisis and the skills to bounce back. In this way, everyday life situations can be turned into potential opportunities due to your open-mindedness. 3. You can overcome your fears. The lack of creativity can lead to fears of change or the unknown. This is because when you haven't developed skills like flexibility or problem solving, you may struggle to navigate through unfamiliar situations. Since life is full of many unknowns, and the path to growth can create a lot of uncertainty, the lack of creativity might cause you to prefer the safety of your comfort zone. However, the opposite is also true. By nurturing your creativity, you may feel more confident exploring new experiences or getting yourself out of sticky situations that you haven't encountered before. Where do we get it wrong? Just because you are born with a creative side doesn't mean that you know how to tap into it. For a myriad of reasons, you may not have been exposed to many creative experiences, especially growing up. You may also have some psychological barriers that prevent you from fully embracing your natural creativity. Here are a few reasons why creative expression may not come easy for you. 1. Self-limiting beliefs. Self-limiting beliefs are discouraging beliefs that emphasize what you cannot do. When they are reinforced through habits, they can create mental blocks which restrict your thinking. You can recognize self-limiting beliefs by what you tell yourself that you cannot do. For example, "I'm not good at problem solving" would be a limiting belief that could potentially block you from attempting to problem solve. 2. Sticking to rigid routines. Having a routine is helpful for organizing your life, but when it becomes rigid and mechanical, it can restrict any kind of creative thinking. Instead of adapting to new circumstances, you might approach life with a fixed mindset, where you rely on what you already know and have experienced to solve new and complex problems. This approach can limit your potential to grow, adapt to change, and learn new skills. 3. lack of access to creative outlets. Due to your lifestyle or profession, you may have very few opportunities to play. For instance, your job might require systematic thinking that doesn't necessarily allow you to deviate from the set processes. Or you might live a busy lifestyle that limits your options when it comes to engaging in creative interests and hobbies. 4. Suffering with stress. It is very difficult to think creatively when you are stressed or anxious. Stress has been found to cause a temporary shutdown to the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for execution functions like task switching, planning, and flexibility. The reptilian part of your brain responsible for warding off danger gets activated. However, this might cause you to become more rigid and risk-averse. Living with a diagnosed or undiagnosed stress-related mental illness can also make it difficult to nurture your creativity. 5. Being overly critical of yourself. Creative expression can be blocked by overthinking or perfectionist thinking. In both cases, you become extremely critical of your own thoughts, which disrupts creative processes like planning or brainstorming. You may also experience a phenomenon called paralysis by analysis, which refers to overthinking a goal to the extent of being indecisive or unmotivated to get started. Creativity is not about being perfect or coming up with the perfect solutions. It is about asking questions and exploring the possibilities. 5 ways to unleash your natural creativity. Understanding the various factors which could be blocking your creativity is the first step to unleashing your natural creativity. The next step is to give yourself permission to play and explore. There are many ways to boost your creativity. Here are some examples. Write down a vision for your life. Think about where you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years. Create a vision statement to reflect your values and the ultimate goal you are striving for. Embrace continuous learning. Fall in love with the process of getting smarter and more agile at navigating life. Invest in continuous learning by challenging yourself to learn new technical or soft skills on an ongoing basis. Alternatively, you can find ways of teaching your skills to others, which is also a form of learning. Listen to different voices. Be open to listening to other people's perspectives about life. Identify people who have different opinions and beliefs than you, and learn about their worldviews. A great way to learn how to listen to new voices is by discovering new podcasts or reading books of different genres. Change your environment. One of the ways to avoid becoming trapped in routine is to switch up your environment every once in a while. For example, you could find a different workspace, explore new social settings, discover new routes on the map, find a rental in a different neighborhood, or take time to travel to unique locations. Make time for play. The definition of play is to engage in activities for the sake of enjoyment rather than a logical purpose. Go on a mission to discover activities that bring you pleasure and help you take a break from serious thinking. For suggestions, turn back to the chapter on recreational activities. Interactive exercise. For the next 30 days, give yourself permission to think freely. Whenever you get a spontaneous idea, write it down on a piece of paper. When you have time later during the day, explore the idea more deeply. Ask questions like, "What if?" and "How might?" to begin the process of creative thinking. Use tools like ChatGPT or Google to help you gather more information about the topic. For more suggestions on how to positively transform your lifestyle, get yourself a copy of the full-length book titled Turning the Caterpillar into the Butterfly: Empowering Your Best Self Towards True Potential, a simple 52-step guidebook to unleashing your inner greatness. Chapter 6. Invest your time into personal growth. One can choose to go back toward safety or forward toward growth. Growth must be chosen again and again. Fear must be overcome again and again. Abraham Maslow. Why personal growth matters. The myth of Sisyphus is one of the most popular Greek myths that reflects the futility of life. As the myth goes, Sisyphus was a trickster who lied and cheated his way into being reborn and living a second time. To punish him for cheating death, Zeus instructed him to push a rock up a mountain for the rest of eternity. When the rock rolled back down, he would have to roll it up the mountain again and again. What made this punishment brutal is that there was an absence of meaning. Several times a day, Sisyphus would be forced to carry out the same routine over and over again, without anything to gain. How many times have you felt this way about your life? You had certain obligations to fulfill, like keeping a job and saving money, but none of it felt meaningful. Even though these obligations were important, you were disconnected to them, and felt as though you were pushing a rock up a mountain. If you had to analyze your life, you would find that many of the tasks you carry out on a daily basis are futile, meaning they don't produce meaningful results. You simply do them because you have to, not because you actually derive a sense of purpose from them. Life continues to feel futile until you decide to quit going through the motions and find the meaning behind your existence. To some extent, this quest will lead you along the path of spirituality, but the main path is one of personal growth. Personal growth is the choice you make to demand more out of your life. This triggers a series of changes within yourself which make your existence feel meaningful. While personal growth can transform your lifestyle, the true transformation happens within. You become a more focused, goal-driven, and present individual who approaches life with a renewed mindset. This means that even when you carry out the same futile tasks, you are charged with motivation. Since you are more connected to your life's journey, you are able to see the value or significance of the futile tasks. For instance, you could see them as stepping stones to achieving your dreams. The benefit of personal growth is that you get to inject your life with meaning. Instead of being weighed down about what, you can focus on why you do it. Knowing the why behind your work, health, and relationships promotes goal setting, learning, and living a purposeful life. You may even find yourself having the same mindset as the janitor working at NASA headquarters, who told President John F. Kennedy that he was helping to take a man to the moon when asked about his job. The janitor had moved beyond what he did and focused on the significance behind his role. This type of mindset enabled him to find meaning in his work. As you work on personal growth, you will be able to identify the why behind every what, and you will notice that ordinary life starts to feel less burdensome and more exciting. Where do we get it wrong? The consequences of not investing in personal growth are that you become complacent and increasingly dissatisfied with your life. You may feel as though each year looks and feels the same, and that your life isn't moving forward. If you believe in the value of personal growth, but still find it difficult to get started, there could be a few factors that are holding you back. Some of them might include: 1. You don't believe in yourself. Personal growth is triggered by the desire to experience more out of life or to become a better version of yourself. However, this isn't possible without believing that you deserve more and can become more. Unbelief is rooted in mistrust, particularly not trusting yourself. Perhaps this is a result of early childhood trauma, past failures, or deep insecurities. These blockages make it tough to believe in your potential and follow through with your goals. For instance, on the surface you might be attracted to the idea of advancing in your career, but deep down you don't believe that you deserve success. 2. You feel discouraged. Discouragement is the result of being disappointed in yourself for trying and failing at something. You might internalize the failure and see it as a reflection of who you are. During this time, getting back to the drawing board isn't easy to do because the thought of attempting something new again may cause stress. Unless you can find ways of reframing failure and looking for hidden opportunities, discouragement can prevent you from continuing on the path of personal growth. 3. You lack a sense of direction. Another common reason for not pursuing personal growth is a lack of direction. In other words, you don't know what you want or where to start improving your life. If you have goals, they could be vague, overly ambitious, and lacking accountability. Sometimes the lack of direction can feel so overwhelming that you numb yourself to it. You could even develop an attitude of indifference about your life, which makes taking action seem pointless. One of the ways to get out of this cycle is to challenge yourself by learning something new. This can spark an idea or passion that you want to follow and materialize in your life that can kickstart your personal growth and help you create meaningful goals. 5 ways to invest in your personal growth. Investing in your personal growth means taking responsibility for your life. You may not be able to control many factors about your environment, but you can control how you show up and interact with the world. Whenever you feel dissatisfied about an area of your life, see that as an opportunity to level up. Think of what you could start doing to improve your overall well-being. Below are different ways to invest in your personal growth. Set meaningful goals. Start to live for something by striving toward short and long-term goals. Rearrange your lifestyle to support the outcomes you hope to achieve. Get a hold of your finances. Learn how money works and various ways to accumulate more of it. Money isn't everything, but it can provide greater freedom. Create goals centered around improving your finances, such as getting out of debt, purchasing your first property, or building a startup business. Take care of your physical health. Becoming your best self starts with taking good care of your body. This is because a healthy body produces a healthy mind, which is necessary when you are working toward goals and living a more structured lifestyle. Give yourself a challenge. Personal growth is about accepting challenges that push you out of your comfort zone, forcing you to learn new habits and skills. Create small and achievable challenges for yourself based on areas you would like to improve on. Make the challenges hard enough to ignite drive, but not too strenuous that you feel discouraged. Partner with the right experts. You don't have to undergo the journey of personal growth alone. There are experts, like therapists, mentors, and coaches, who are trained to support you through different life transitions. Experts can also be helpful when there are emotional issues you need to resolve before becoming your best self. Interactive exercise. For the next 30 days, create a personal challenge for yourself. Based on the area or areas of your life that you are working on, find a small and manageable task to practice on a daily basis. This task should ideally help you learn a positive skill or behavior that can enhance your overall well-being. Chapter 7. Set goals for your business and career. Your career is like a garden. You do not need to grow just one thing in your garden. You do not need to do just one thing in your career. Jennifer Ritchie Payette. Why career development matters. In the previous chapter, we looked at the importance of personal growth, not only for enhanced well-being, but for injecting life with meaning. One of the common areas of personal growth that people focus on is work. People want to be motivated by what they do and feel as though their contributions at work make a difference. Have you ever sat down and thought about your relationship with work? What significance does your job have to your life? Would you describe yourself as someone who is doing what they love, or someone who is merely doing what they are paid to do? In Japanese culture, there is a concept known as ikigai, which means life's purpose. The ancient healers in Japan believed that much of the misery and physical ailments that people experienced was a result of not discovering their life's purpose. They believed that when people started to live intentionally, they would live healthier and longer lives. In the West, we have our own interpretation of ikigai, which centers around finding meaningful work. Meaningful work can be described as a job that brings satisfaction and fulfills a higher purpose. There are 4 criteria for finding meaningful work that are presented on the Ikigai diagram. The type of career that feels fulfilling will be found at the intersection of the 4 components. The 4 components include: 1. Find what you love. Meaningful work brings a sense of pleasure. Whenever you are engaged in those tasks, you may find it easier to focus and apply your mind to solving problems. Work becomes enjoyable when it is connected to an inner motivation, such as becoming a better version of yourself or being of service to others. 2. Find what you are good at. Meaningful work strengthens competence. You will notice that the duties you are most passionate about, you also happen to be highly skilled or talented in. It could be that you pursued further education in that field, or you were born with a natural gift to perform those duties. 3. Find what you can get paid for. In order to derive pleasure from what you do, it should also provide a sense of security. Otherwise, you may find it difficult to incorporate it as part of your lifestyle. Making money from something you love to do is the ideal type of work that many professionals strive for. 4. Find something the world needs. Meaningful work takes into consideration the social and environmental impact of what you do. You will find a greater sense of purpose when your work positively contributes to the lives of other people. This can also become a source of motivation when you face challenges at work. You can simply remind yourself that the extra effort and long hours carry ripple effects, which will make a difference in your community. It can be difficult finding work that ticks all of these 4 boxes. However, that is what career development is all about. The aim is to set goals for your career that enable you to do work that brings fulfillment, more than just getting paid at the end of the month. Your career development plan should also consider the different career paths you can take. Finding a sense of fulfillment from one job is possible, but extremely rare. For example, you may currently have a job that pays you well, but it isn't something you love or makes a positive difference in the world. Be open to the idea of broadening your career and getting involved in different projects that can make your work life feel meaningful. An example would be: 1. Working a traditional 9-to-5 job, something you get paid for. 2. Managing an online business. This could be your passion project. 3. Creating online courses teaching your skills, showcasing what you are good at. 4. Mentoring a young person in high school, paying it forward by investing in another individual's career. As you think about your career, consider whether your current job meets your wants and needs. Be willing to explore the possibilities of developing your skills, finding what you are passionate about, and making a positive contribution to the world. Remember, you don't need to limit your career to a single occupation. Your career can be as diverse as you want it to be. It is also worth mentioning that sometimes the best way to find the intersection of your Ikigai is to do the hard work. This may not sound glamorous. However, it is a reliable way to find what you are good at, what you like and dislike, as well as what type of work carries the most impact. Where do we get it wrong? The thought of working toward your ideal career should be exciting, right? Well, not for everybody. In fact, a survey conducted by JobSite, a UK-based jobs board, found that 1 in 3 workers would turn down their dream job if it meant they had to conquer their fears. In other words, one of the barriers to career progression that many professionals face is their own fears. What are some of these fears? According to author and life coach Adam Smith, there are 10 fears that hold professionals back from achieving their full career potentials. He outlines these fears in his book entitled The Bravest You: 5 Steps to Fight Your Biggest Fears. Find your passion and unlock your extraordinary life. They include the following: fear of inadequacy. Not feeling like you are competent enough can delay your career by causing you to miss out on opportunities like applying to a job opening or asking for a promotion. Fear of uncertainty. When you are afraid of the unknown, your comfort zone becomes a safe place. Even if you are dissatisfied with your current job, you may see it as a safer option than taking a career risk and possibly regretting it later. One of the ways to overcome the fear of uncertainty is to journal about your anxious thoughts on paper and plan for the worst-case scenarios. The workbook provides plenty of space to share your thoughts and feelings. Fear of failure. If you have a negative perception of failure, it may be difficult to move past it. Whenever you fail at accomplishing a career goal, you may see it as a sign to give up, not realizing that there is so much wisdom and feedback to learn from mistakes and unsuccessful attempts. Fear of rejection. When you have a rocky sense of self and depend too much on gaining approval from others, career development can cause a lot of self-doubt. For example, you might worry about what other people will think or say about your plans to go back to school, change jobs, or start a business. The fear of possible retaliation or pushback from others can discourage you from executing your plans. Fear of missing out. The fear of missing out, FOMO, can present unexpected challenges when you are getting ready to accelerate your career. For instance, you might worry that choosing to invest a lot of time in your career will compromise your social life and eventually put a strain on your relationships with friends and family. Fear of change. Similar to the fear of uncertainty, change can trigger strong resistance within and make you fearful of embracing new opportunities. You might worry that broadening your career will negatively affect who you are, how you live, and your relationships with others. You may also worry about being able to cope with the new demands placed on you. Fear of losing control. The obsessive need for control comes as a result of not trusting yourself. The only way to feel secure about your career is to manage every aspect of it, or at least believe that you have full control over it. Career progression naturally forces you outside of your comfort zone, meaning that you will encounter circumstances that you have little control over. If you aren't willing to deepen self-trust and believe in your potential to overcome challenges, you may choose to reject change. Fear of being judged. If your dream career is unconventional or something that isn't practiced often in your family or community, you may fear that your loved ones or society may judge you for choosing to practice it. Similar to the fear of rejection, the thought of being disapproved or ridiculed by others could be enough to delay your career plans. Fear of something bad happening. When seeking to advance your career, you will never know with certainty how every decision will play out. Thinking about worst-case scenarios can be a form of self-sabotage because you are less likely to move forward with confidence if you entertain the possibility of encountering extremely negative situations along the way. Fear of getting hurt. Similar to the fear mentioned above, entertaining thoughts of getting hurt or disappointed can induce stress and anxiety, which makes you more fearful about pursuing your career goals. Instead of assuming the worst will happen, take a different approach and imagine the best-case scenario. How to set meaningful goals for your business and career. A well-crafted career development plan can be a game-changer for you. It can help you define a strong vision for your career and create actionable objectives to work on in the short and long term. It also allows you to be more intentional about finding meaningful work so that you don't have to be subjected to an unfulfilling job. Below are the steps to take whenever you are revising or creating a fresh career development plan. 1. Do your research and explore the possibilities. Doing your research should be the first step when compiling a career development plan. Even if you already know which direction you want to take, collecting information can narrow your focus and help you create specific and targeted goals. For example, your career development plan will consider the big picture vision, but also the day-to-day tasks that will get you there. Research helps you explore your interests and zone in on what you truly desire to pursue, as well as what you can realistically achieve. Here are some questions you can explore while conducting research. What skills or qualifications are required to advance to the next step? Where are the gaps? What interests or passions can help you succeed at this next career level? What new hobbies can you adopt? Who do you need support from to advance to the next step? Identify experts that can help you make the transition. What standard duties and responsibilities will you be in charge of? What will be the ripple effects on your lifestyle? What are the realistic expectations when it comes to achieving a work-life balance? What are the signs that this career move is the right fit for your personality, ambitions, and higher purpose? 2. Travel into the future and visualize where you want to be. The next step is to imagine what your career will look like in the next 5 to 10 years. Visualizing the future can be a great source of motivation at the beginning and during the process of career progression. It can also make the daily routine work feel significant, since you understand how the mundane tasks are connected to your big picture vision. After your initial visualization session, write a page describing your career in the future. Focus on what you are doing, where you are, how you feel, who is supporting you, how you utilize your time, and any other detail you may find important to mention. 3. Set both short and long-term goals. At this point, you are ready to set smart, short and long-term goals. Short-term goals focus on targets you can aim for within the next 6 months, whereas long-term goals focus on targets that require at least 12 months to reach. Focus on quality rather than quantity when it comes to setting goals. For instance, you are better off having fewer and more actionable goals than plenty of vague goals. Your short and long-term goals can focus on the vital areas of career development, which are skills building, experience, networking, and education. Once you have your SMART goals written out, plot out a realistic sequence of career progression. For example, if one of your long-term goals is to become a senior manager at your company, you may decide to start working on goals related to education and skills building. When you have achieved those milestones, you could progress to goals related to experience and networking. What matters most when plotting out your career progression is making sure your goals help you increase your level of competence in a realistic and achievable way. 4. Find ways to measure your progress and hold yourself accountable. Lastly, you are responsible for making sure that you sustain momentum along the way. This can be a difficult task to do when you don't have specific milestones to measure your progress. Milestones can be figures, percentages, or levels that you need to reach in order to get closer to achieving your goals. For long-term goals, you will need to have a few milestones strategically placed at different stages of your goal. At each stage, your focus could be on the specific milestone rather than looking at the bigger picture. Another way to hold yourself accountable is to be surrounded by like-minded people who are working towards similar goals. For example, if you are starting a business, it can be beneficial to join online startup clubs, groups or associations where relevant skills and knowledge are transferred, and you can exchange ideas with other startup business owners. You may also want to consider finding an accountability partner or career coach who can meet with you on a regular basis to offer guidance and support on your journey. Interactive exercise. For the next 30 days, work on creating a compelling career vision statement. The purpose of this statement is to describe your ultimate career achievements and highlight key attributes. Some of the components to include in your vision statement are your values, skill sets or desired skill sets, short and long-term goals, interests and passions, as well as the positive difference or legacy you want to achieve. Keep your vision statement in an accessible place and refer back to it whenever you need motivation. Chapter 8. Ramp up your health and fitness. Most people fail not because of lack of desire, but because of lack of commitment. Vince Lombardi. Why health and fitness matter. You may already know that staying healthy is good for you. But have you taken the time to wonder why this area of your life is so important? Besides weight loss, can you think of at least 5 more benefits of living an active lifestyle? Physical exercise is a critical component of your lifestyle, regardless of your age, body type, fitness level, or fitness goals. In fact, you don't need to have set goals to work out. There are a few physiological changes that occur whenever you get active. Your heart and breathing rate will speed up, causing an increased supply of blood to the brain. This will increase your mental alertness, reduce sensations of pain, and increase positive moods. This calming effect can continue for hours post-exercise and promote better sleep. Physical exercise can also reduce the risks of getting heart disease, the leading cause of death for both men and women in the U.S. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that every 33 seconds, one person dies from a heart-related complication in America. This is approximately 1 in 5 people. Research has found that regular exercise can enhance the production of high-density lipoprotein, HDL, cholesterol, the healthy cholesterol, and reduces the production of triglycerides, a type of fat found in your bloodstream that can lead to heart disease, stroke, obesity, and diabetes. Regular exercise can also lower your blood pressure, reduce symptoms of anxiety, and improve your mood. In this fast-paced world, there is often a lot of pressure to maintain high performance at work, be emotionally present for your loved ones, and protect yourself from mental and physical illness. Incorporating exercise into your routine can be a great way to maintain a healthy body, regulate your moods, stay focused throughout the day, improve your self-esteem, and manage stress effectively. All of these benefits are yours for the taking by simply committing to 30 minutes of physical activity a few times a week. Where do we get it wrong? If physical exercise carries so many health benefits, why is it one of the hardest habits to adopt? You may ask yourself this question at one point on your personal development journey. Even though the benefits of exercise are obvious, there could be a few factors holding you back from committing to an active lifestyle. Some of them could be: 1. Unrealistic expectations. Sometimes your expectations of results when engaging in physical exercise could leave you feeling disappointed and discouraged. This is often seen when you expect to lose a lot of weight, or magically cure a chronic disease after a few days or weeks of intense exercise. Physical exercise isn't a miracle cure or short-term solution for managing your weight and lifestyle. Instead of focusing on reaching specific milestones, focus on how you want to feel after each workout session. Lowering your expectations in this way can make your fitness journey feel less daunting. 2. Taking drastic measures. Have you ever wondered why New Year's fitness resolutions tend to fail? The most common reason is that the fitness goals are typically extreme or unrealistic. They may not take into consideration your available resources, such as your time, money, energy, and knowledge. Thus, after a few good weeks, you may find it difficult to keep up the momentum. Ideally, physical exercise shouldn't put you way out of your comfort zone to the extent that you feel overwhelmed whenever you think about working out. Exercise should be fun, spontaneous, and easy to integrate into your routine. 3. Physical exhaustion. A YouGov poll surveyed 2,086 adults in the UK on behalf of the World Cancer Research Fund. The researchers wanted to find out what were some of the challenges keeping people back from adopting healthy habits. Among the findings, it was discovered that 35% of respondents couldn't commit to a healthy diet and active lifestyle due to tiredness. Tiredness and poor work-life balance are related to one another. When you are overworked and pushed beyond your limits at work, you may develop chronic fatigue. Being tired makes you less mindful of what you eat and drink, or how much exercise you get each week. Stress at work or home can also affect your level of motivation to exercise. Even though you are fully aware of the benefits of exercise, you may not have the desire to engage in it. To overcome this barrier, it is worth implementing temporary measures to reduce stress in your life. For example, if you have a busy work schedule that takes up most of the day, practice time blocking, prioritizing tasks, and setting boundaries to decrease the spillover of stress into your personal life. Another tip is to enforce a strict no-work policy after work hours, so you have the time to focus on other areas of your life. 5 habits to live an active and healthy lifestyle. There are no fixed rules about what type of physical activity you should be doing. What matters is that you keep your body moving. You may be fortunate enough to have hobbies that require muscle movement such as hiking or gardening. Engaging in these hobbies can help you incorporate a healthy workout without feeling it. Along with your physical activity, here are 5 habits that can enhance your quality of life and improve the relationship you have with your body. Stay hydrated. Drinking water can support multiple bodily functions, such as carrying nutrients to cells, promoting healthy digestion, carrying waste out of the body, and protecting vital organs. Take multivitamins. You may not always receive the nutrients you need from a regular diet. This is why taking multivitamins can boost your immune system and reduce the risk of diseases. Avoid emotional eating. Emotional eating is a harmful coping mechanism that involves binging on unhealthy foods and beverages. Not only can this behavior lead to weight gain, it can also lead to mental health conditions like eating disorders, food addictions, and depression. Get better sleep. Good sleep has been linked to a strong immune system, healthy weight management, and increased energy. When you sleep well, you are more likely to feel motivated to exercise and live a healthy lifestyle. Reduce sedentary activities. Any activity that causes you to sit down for long periods of time can be unhealthy for your joints and overall health. Your body needs to keep moving throughout the day to keep vital organs and muscles functioning properly. Always look for active alternatives to everyday sedentary tasks. For example, take the stairs instead of the elevator, walk to your local grocery store instead of taking the car, or ride a stationary bicycle while watching TV. Interactive exercise. For the next 30 days, challenge yourself to complete a 15-minute physical activity every day. You can break up the 15 minutes into smaller tasks, such as a 5-minute jog to the bus station, 5 minutes climbing stairs, and 5 minutes completing household chores. Alternatively, you can find fun 15-minute at-home workouts on YouTube. Make a note of the activities you enjoy and find ways to make them a permanent part of your lifestyle. Reminder: each month, rate your level of satisfaction in the area of your health and fitness on the wellness wheel. Refer to the workbook. Feel free to practice the suggestions made in this chapter to incorporate more physical activities into your lifestyle. Chapter 9. Be open to meaningful romantic relationships. When we love, we always strive to become better than we are. When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. Paulo Coelho. Why romantic relationships matter. What is the purpose of romantic relationships? Are they only meant for seeking pleasure, or could there be more to gain from them? In the first chapter, we looked at the love shared among friends and family, and how that can offer a sense of belonging and purpose. Healthy romantic relationships provide the same emotional benefits that come with closeness. The only difference is these types of relationships offer greater intimacy. Intimacy can be defined as the willingness to be seen and known for who you truly are. In a romantic relationship, building intimacy requires trust and openness to share hidden parts of you with a partner that friends or family members wouldn't get to see. Of course, this level of vulnerability isn't promised in every romantic relationship, and it can be cut short when trust is compromised. Romantic relationships without intimacy can start to feel empty and miss the kind of desire and connection that brings two people together. Another danger that couples face is focusing on one type of intimacy rather than learning different ways of deepening their connection. For instance, physical intimacy is one of the most recognizable forms of intimacy that involves physical closeness. While this type of intimacy is important for expressing affection, it cannot sustain a healthy romantic relationship. Couples would need to be open to other forms of intimacy, such as emotional intimacy, the ability to share your thoughts and feelings with your partner without feeling afraid of criticism. Couples who develop emotional intimacy are able to validate each other's experiences without taking offense and use words to convey support and appreciation. Intellectual intimacy, the ability to express different beliefs and opinions to your partner and challenge each other's worldviews. Couples who develop intellectual intimacy are able to debate and reflect on ideas respectfully, without anyone trying to be right. Experiential intimacy, the ability for couples to create memories, play together, and work together. Having shared experiences can be a great way to spend quality time and develop closeness. Couples learn to become friends and get to know other sides of each other's personalities. Spiritual intimacy, the ability to discuss and build a romantic relationship on values and beliefs. For instance, religious beliefs may set the foundation for some romantic relationships, while other relationships may seek to align on universal principles and values. Developing spiritual intimacy can help couples form a bond that is stronger than feelings, and instead built on integrity and doing what is right for one another. Since romantic relationships face highs and lows like any other relationship, it is normal for intimacy to ebb and flow. Pay attention to what type of intimacy your relationship may be lacking and set goals with your partner to work on that area of intimacy. Where do we go wrong? We know that not all romantic relationships are healthy. In fact, sometimes they can be the greatest source of pain. Many issues can arise in these types of relationships that are related to trust issues, compatibility issues, and unmet needs and expectations. Good intentions alone will not make a relationship healthy. Both you and your partner will need to examine your habits and how they might be impacting intimacy. Below are some of the harmful habits that can sabotage romantic relationships. 1. Keeping scores. Healthy relationships are based on reciprocity, which means that there is a continuous give and take that happens between partners. The mistake that couples make is to think that they need to match the other person's giving, or vice versa. For example, if one person cooks a meal on Monday, they expect their partner to cook a meal on Tuesday. Eventually, this leads to keeping score of what you gave and how much you received in return. Reciprocity isn't about mirroring your partner's giving, but rather identifying and responding to their unique needs. Giving your partner what they give to you may not be how they desire to receive love. For instance, one person may show love by washing dishes, acts of service, while the other person returns love by offering encouragement, words of affirmation. The scorecard will never be identical because what each person needs is different. However, it will always be balanced. 2. Passive-aggressive behavior. One of the signs of poor communication is a lack of open and honest dialogue between couples. This often backfires when a couple gets into an argument and the real issue cannot be brought forward and addressed immediately. Instead, they might drop hints, make unkind remarks, and find other discreet ways of expressing disapproval. Passive-aggressive behavior is one of the fastest killers of intimacy because it drives a wedge between couples. When conflict ensues, each person retreats to their own corners and finds ways to self-soothe. Over time, they may grow to resent each other for not being able to freely express how they feel and what they need. Passive-aggressive behavior is also a form of emotional abuse because it can psychologically break someone down. If this is a recurring issue in your relationship, it is important to seek help from a neutral third party. 3. Playing the blame game. Blame is the feeling that somebody else is responsible for wrongdoing. It is an unhealthy coping mechanism to deal with stress, which can compromise the safety and trust in romantic relationships. Blame can also be a way of avoiding taking responsibility for one's own feelings or actions. Turning the tables around and making the other people feel guilty can make the problem seem less personal. Similar to passive-aggressive behaviors, blame is a form of emotional abuse because it manipulates the other person's feelings and distorts their reality. For instance, if the partner being blamed has poor boundaries or emotional intelligence, they may genuinely believe they are responsible for their partner's hurt feelings. 5 ways to nurture romantic relationships. Romantic relationships take time and patience to nurture. Not only do you need to learn about another human being's life and how their past experiences may impact how they show up in the relationship, you also need to work on yourself so that you can provide a safe space for a meaningful connection to happen. They are encouraged to do the same for you, to continue working on their personal development so that they can be better at recognizing and responding to your needs. The chances of you finding a perfect human being who has healed from their past trauma and intuitively knows what you need are slim. This is why it is important to consistently work on your relationship together and design the type of long-lasting union that both of you desire. Here are a few practical ways to nurture your romantic relationship. 1. Use tell culture. Tell culture promotes authenticity and open communications in a relationship. The aim is to be forthcoming and tell your partner information they would need to know to understand you better. This doesn't mean you have to overshare and go deep into your personal experiences. Only share as much as you are comfortable with them knowing about you at each stage of the relationship. 2. Practice emotional attunement. Emotional attunement is the ability to empathize with your partner's experience by connecting to the emotions behind their words. This may be easier to do when you are communicating face-to-face because you get to pick up on various nonverbal cues. Over text, you may need to ask open-ended questions to gain clarity about the intention of your partner's message. For example, you might say, "It sounds like you are overwhelmed. Is that true?" 3. Have constructive conflicts. Conflict is inevitable in any type of relationship. However, frequent conflict can erode intimacy in your romantic relationship. Whenever conflict arises, set an intention to address the issue constructively. For instance, before you start addressing the issue, take a few minutes to agree on the outcome you both want to achieve. If the conversation starts to derail during the conflict resolution, remind each other about the desired outcome. You can also set some ground rules to reduce negative reactions and create a safer environment to exchange ideas. 4. Set relationship goals. One of the ways to nurture a long-term romantic relationship is to set relationship goals. These goals can give you something to work on together as a couple. Your goals should be aligned with your shared values and beliefs to bring you closer to each other. Setting goals can also be a great way to spend quality time and stay connected during different seasons of your life. 5. Be willing to compromise. When two individuals decide to be partners in life, there is a lot of compromising that must take place in order for the relationship to feel fulfilling. The lack of compromise creates one-sided relationships where one person invests more than the other. Healthy relationships aren't necessarily equal, i.e., both partners are responsible for the same duties. However, they are balanced in the sense that one partner's strengths cover the other partner's weaknesses and vice versa. This means that sometimes one partner will need something that their counterpart is able to give, and moments like that are opportunities for compromise. Interactive exercise. For the next 30 days, challenge yourself to write a half or full-page journal entry about a quality you love in your partner. Focus on the little things that they do or say that make you feel cared for. This exercise will train your brain to look for the positives that your partner brings to your life. rather than focusing on where they fall short. Chapter 10. Positively impact your environment. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead. Why eco-friendly living matters. Your environment isn't restricted to your physical house. It encompasses everything you eat, drink, smell, touch, and listen to. Being environmentally friendly, eco-friendly, is about showing concern and being proactive when it comes to protecting your surroundings. When your surroundings are toxic and unlivable, you suffer the consequences that may follow. You don't need to be a nature lover to see the importance of eco-friendly living. If you desire to live a long and healthy life and leave this world in a better state for your children and grandchildren, then showing consideration for the environment is key. Every small action goes a long way in protecting your environment. For example, planting a tree in your garden or neighborhood can improve the quality of air, and switching to reusable shopping bags and drinking cups can reduce the amount of non-recyclable waste that enters water streams and fills dumping sites. Protecting the environment can also significantly improve your physical and mental well-being. Having access to clean drinking water, eating healthy foods, and living in a decluttered environment can reduce the risks of developing various cancers, respiratory diseases, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and depression. By committing to a cleaner and environmentally conscious lifestyle, you can live better and ensure a safe environment for your loved ones too. Where do we get it wrong? We know that living an eco-friendly lifestyle is not always easy, especially when fast, on-the-go, unsustainable products are more accessible and affordable. Research shows that less than half of people believe they are doing all they can to live a sustainable lifestyle. Some of the challenges to sustainable living are lack of interest, 22%, price, 16%, and lack of information, 15%. Let's take a closer look at these barriers. 1. Cost factor. The most commonly cited reason for not adopting an eco-friendly lifestyle is the cost implication. Since some sustainable food products, clothing, or gadgets are expensive to manufacture, they tend to be priced higher than normal processed or synthetic goods. The upside, however, is that eco-friendly products are typically reusable, which means you could see the purchase as an investment. 2. Inconvenient factor. Human beings are creatures of habit and tend to do what works and is more convenient than what is necessarily right. Examples would be driving to places where you can walk, or using plastic bags at the grocery store because it's easier than remembering to pack your reusable bags. There must be a stronger intrinsic motivation encouraging you to live an eco-friendly lifestyle. Otherwise, you may easily fall back to old habits. 3. Thinking your actions don't matter. The issue of climate change can sometimes feel too big to do anything about. You may also notice the disinterest of governments and companies to participate in eco-living and feel as though your actions won't count. You are one in a billion people living on this earth, but how you live can affect your quality of life and the lives of those around you. Instead of trying to solve the climate issue, focus on improving your ecosystem. Start by making a difference in how you take care of your body, then look at ways to reduce your carbon footprint and switch to eco-friendly products. Every small action builds onto the next, until you create the type of environment that promotes healthy living. 15 ways to positively impact your environment. If you are planning to make the effort of living a sustainable lifestyle, focus on small and meaningful actions. Below are 15 suggestions. 1. Switch 5 items in your home into recyclable alternatives. 2. Practice the 12-12-12 challenge. Find 12 items to donate, 12 items to throw away, and 12 items to repurpose or find suitable storage for. 3. Start a vegetable garden. 4. Read the latest news on the internet rather than in a print magazine or newspaper. 5. Go to work with your coffee in a flask. Refill your flask instead of using paper cups. 6. Support an environmental cause. 7. Pick up litter while you are walking on the street. 8. Calculate your carbon footprint. 9. Join a community cleanup. 10. Limit the amount of processed foods you consume. 11. Open the windows and get natural ventilation into the house. 12. Buy fruits and vegetables from farmers markets and support local farmers. 13. Carry a reusable water bottle. 14. Switch to eco-friendly cleaning products. 15. Switch off the lights in unoccupied rooms in the house. Interactive exercise. For the next 30 days, challenge yourself to practice as many of the eco-friendly suggestions mentioned above as you can. Notice which activities come more naturally than others. If you feel inconvenienced by any of the suggestions, write a note in your journal about the challenges you have and possible solutions to implement going forward. You have successfully gone through 10 life categories that are necessary for a balanced and meaningful life. Remember to document your month-to-month progress in your workbook journal. Conclusion. To truly live, we must be willing to take risks, to be nothing in order to find everything, to leap before we look. Mandy Hale. Becoming your best self requires stepping out of your comfort zone and being open to embracing different ideas about your health, finances, career, and relationships. It is about being okay with the possibility of being wrong or failing at something new. There will be many moments along the journey where you feel unprepared to confront challenges, but the essence of personal growth is learning to adapt to different seasons of your life. Living a balanced lifestyle has a lot to do with becoming your best self. This is because your life is not defined by a single category, such as career or family, but rather multiple categories that focus on addressing different needs. Achieving balance in your life sometimes means turning your focus away from an area where you are succeeding and investing more time in an area where you are lacking. The 10 life categories mentioned in this book will help you determine areas of your life that need improvement. How you enhance each area of your life is completely up to you. However, you have been given plenty of tips to get started, as well as a workbook journal to document your highs and lows every month. However, your learning doesn't stop here. To explore the concepts mentioned in this book in greater detail, consider purchasing the full-length book titled Turning the Caterpillar into the Butterfly: Empowering Your Best Self Towards True Potential, a simple 52-step guidebook to unleashing your inner greatness.